Welcome to Showboatin and Hotdoggin. You're here with Pipes and Jobber. This is the first broadcast. We're talking about everything WrestleMania.
Yep, WrestleMania 34 this Sunday from New Orleans, Louisiana. We have a stacked week. Hall of Fame, NXT Takeover, New Orleans, and WrestleMania.
This is Christmas for the wrestling fans.
Depending on who you are. You know, those IWC marks, they don't like the WWE.
This is true, and those ROH people aren't too fond of them anyway. But for the mainstream wrestling fan, this is truly the biggest weekend of the year on the grandest stage of them all. And you're right, we have a really stacked card. NXT Takeover is going to be great, and we'll be going over the match rundowns on that card here just in a few minutes.
Yeah.
We'll be going over all the matches in WrestleMania, giving you some predictions and just some interesting information. Pipes, what do you got?
Well, interesting. You want to start out with Takeover, or you want to start with the Hall of Fame?
Let's go with the Hall of Fame.
All right. Well, we got a pretty decent class this year.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people out there who think it could have been a lot better. Some people were omitted that probably should have been in, and some people got in that maybe shouldn't have.
Yeah, well, that's going to be with anything that WWE does, because they really don't. They have that kind of list that's kind of, the blacklist, where,
True, and I want to know, though, Pipes, who are you most excited to hear talk at the Hall of Fame ceremony tomorrow night?
Honestly, I really am looking forward to what Jeff Jarrett's going to say.
Oh, and we're going to talk a lot about Jeff Jarrett.
We're coming back to Jeff Jarrett, but I'm really interested to see what he has to say.
Well, Double J has always been a personal favorite of mine, but I'm an old school Mark, and you know that.
Right.
And I got to say, man, Hillbilly Jim for me this year,
I love Hillbilly Jim.
Hillbilly Jim for me, when I was a kid, he was one of the legendary wrestlers.
Yeah.
He was on the Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling cartoon, and it's good to see the old school representing again at this year's Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's always great. I like that, as opposed to when they just like, oh, this guy just retired this year, let's throw him in the Hall of Fame,
True, and there's been a lot of that. Not that I will question any of the choices that have been made for the Hall of Fame as of yet.
Mm-hmm.
But, I do think there are some people out there who, you're right, probably have been blacklisted, who really need to be in the Hall of Fame. The first name that comes to my mind, and this is a controversial pick, but it has to be China.
Me too, yeah. I honestly, the Women's Battle Royale, when they changed the name, it should have been the Joni Lauer Memorial Battle Royale, the China Memorial Battle Royale, something like that. She deserves it.
And a lot of the WWE fans out there are going to disagree with us because of the things that China did after she left wrestling.
Well,
but I don't really care about that, honestly. When she was wrestling and when she was with the organization, she was a founding member of DX. She was one of the greatest women wrestlers of all time. At one point, she was going to challenge for the men's heavyweight title. Yeah. Unfortunately, that never happened, but it was on the books to happen.
And she was Intercontinental Champion, first woman to be in a Royal Rumble match.
And a pinnacle, or not a pinnacle, a very important person, a VIP, if you would, of the Attitude Era.
Absolutely. And the things she did after she worked for WWE, I feel as if it was all set off by that road that Vince McMahon put her down. Vince McMahon had her, stop bodybuilding. He had her get implants. He had her get facial surgery to make her face look more feminine. And then Triple H left her for China, or not for China, but for Stephanie, rather. I'm sorry. And I think it just broke the woman.
And there can be some debate about that,
and
about
X-Pac
how much...
was X-Pac as well.
X-Pac was definitely involved.
Yeah.
And there can be some debate about how much Vince McMahon had to do with the fall of China. And that can be a subject for an entirely different podcast, because we could riff on that for hours.
I feel like soon we'll probably do that.
True. But, for me, this year I would have loved to have seen her in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
I can't remember if it was 2 years ago or last year, we got Macho Man finally in the Hall of Fame. And that was great.
Well, that was off of that rumor that he took Stephanie's virginity when she was 16, right?
And there again, that's a rumor that has never been, proven or disproven.
And we'll never know now.
That's right.
Well, we might never know. Stephanie knows for sure.
But the Macho Man, again, one of those legendary figures in professional wrestling who should have probably been in earlier. I would have put him in the same class with Hogan.
Yeah, he definitely thought he would have been in sooner than he was, but...
What are some other names that you really think should be in there that aren't yet?
I know that there's a few that aren't going to go in because of some of the decisions that they've made. I know that, I believe it was Superstar Billy Graham doesn't want to go in because they put Abdullah the Butcher in.
Correct. And Abdullah, I mean, for my opinion here, Abdullah deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Again, a legendary figure in professional wrestling.
It was, it was wrong what he did, but still.
True. I will also say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but there are a couple of other standouts out there who really need to be in the Hall of Fame. People like George the Animal Steele.
He's not in the Hall of Fame?
He is not currently. I don't believe. You can double check me on that.
I'm going to fact check that while we're talking.
Yeah, go ahead and fact check that while we're talking. But if you go back into the 80s era of professional wrestling, there are so many names that were synonymous with the rise of the professional wrestling culture here in America who are not represented in the Hall of Fame at this point.
Well, I want to put mine out real quick. They do these celebrity things every year now.
True.
Why is Cyndi Lauper not in? Is she?
I think she may be. We're going to fact check that one.
I don't think she's in. And we're going to check. I'm going to get the whole full list of WWE Hall of Famers. We really didn't prepare for this.
No, this is our first broadcast, guys. It will get better.
Yeah. Or worse.
Or worse.
Depending on your attitude towards us.
That's right. We are definitely not the politically correct wrestling show. We're going to call it like we see it. We're not marks for any company. We kind of watch it all. And I've got issues with what the WWE has done. I've got issues with what Ring of Honor has been doing. I've got some issues with TNA as well. And all of that will come to light in future episodes. But it's just, we're just wrestling fans, just guys who enjoy the sports entertainment aspect of it. And, we want to get online and talk about it.
George the Animal Steele went into the WWE Hall of Fame in 1995.
I was proven wrong. George the Animal Steele is in the Hall of Fame.
And we're looking for Cyndi Lauper?
Yes.
I don't believe she is in the Hall of Fame yet. Which is ridiculous because she recently, within the last few years, was on TV.
This is true, and she was. And again, part of that rock and wrestling connection that was so legendary back in the 1980s. But on to the rest of the Hall of Fame ceremony this year. We got Kid Rock going in. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Well, he's a big fan, a big supporter, and he's done music for him. He did Undertaker's American Badass theme originally. He's doing the WrestleMania theme song this year. They used one of his songs, I think, for one of the tribute to the troops. So he's contributed enough. I mean, I guess enough. He did. I remember he was on TV once with Joe C, the little guy.
Yes, and I mean he's
with
done
Edgy Christian, right?
Yes, and he's done some other things in the wrestling world too.
Yeah.
He's worked with JCW, which is, for you guys who don't know out there, that's Juggalo Championship Wrestling. Yeah. It's Insane Clown Posse's wrestling alliance, which is actually fairly entertaining sometimes.
Fun fact is where Sarah Logan from SmackDown Live got her start.
And various and sundry other people have wrestled over there, including Abdullah the Butcher.
Yeah.
So it's just like I said earlier in this podcast, we just have a lot of old classics that need to be in the Hall of Fame that aren't. I mean, if we're going into the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame, Lemmy from Motorhead.
Absolutely.
I mean, Lemmy is no longer with us, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Lemmy.
There's a lot of them they're going to get in that are no longer with us, sadly.
But, I mean, Lemmy designed at least two of Triple H's theme songs.
He did The Game, King of Kings, and I want to say that they used the Motorhead song for a pay-per-view or two.
They have, and there's a band called Union Underground.
They did the Raw theme song when they did the brand split originally. That's
correct. They also did one of the Undertaker's various theme songs, "Turn Me On, Mr. Deadman."
Ah.
So these are all people who. Kid Rock is a big name, and don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Congrats.
A bigger name than Union Underground.
Kid Rock, if you're listening to our crappy little podcast, congratulations, man. We really appreciate you.
So, let's go over what Kid Rock has done. He's made millions of dollars on albums.
He has.
He was married to Pamela Anderson.
He was.
Yeah. For a very brief time, but still counts.
He's been a crossover artist from rap to country back to rap.
Yeah.
He's running for political office.
Rap rock, running for political office as is Rhino.
Correct.
As is Kane.
Correct. Yes, and
good luck to both of them.
Good luck to Kane and Rhino. We hope you win. If we lived in your states, we'd be voting for you.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to have Kane represent me.
Exactly, and I actually have some family in Tennessee who's voting for him.
That's awesome. But yeah, the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. Oh, just a second. It's just the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame.
The worst celebrity they've done for the Hall of Fame by far was Mr. T.
Oh, just his speech.
That was.
It was a bad choice. It was. God, he talked about his mom for 25 minutes.
That was 25 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Kane come out and take him off screen.
Yes, and generally the Hall of Fame is for the old school wrestling fans who really just want to see, some of the classic wrestlers get back up there and tell stories, and it's great. We love it.
Well, let me make you cringe real quick. Think about it. One day we could have Snooki in the WWE Hall of Fame.
That is true. Or David Arquette.
WCW World Champion.
That's right. That's right. He held a championship belt.
He held the big gold belt. He held the World Championship.
That is truly a stain from the Russo era that we will never forget.
And people wonder why WCW went out of business.
There are several reasons that WCW went out of business.
That was one of many.
Vince Russo. But anyway,
Kevin Nash.
Anyway, well, we can debate on Kevin Nash later.
Well, Kevin Nash. Kevin, if you're booking, man, come on, don't book yourself to go over all the fucking time. The worst thing ever was, other than Arquette holding the title, was the finger poke of doom.
There's that, and there's the whole fact that it was the retirement home for old wrestlers.
Yeah.
That they were paying huge money and guaranteed contracts to wrestlers who had no business being in the ring anymore.
Yeah.
Some of which couldn't walk. And I mean, do we even really want to talk about Judy Bagwell on a forklift matches and stuff like that? I mean, again, we can do an entire episode on how bad WCW was.
I'm sure we'll do a WCW episode and we'll have Bill and Pee Wee on.
Oh yeah.
They're WCW marks.
Oh yeah. We can definitely get those guys on.
We'll just trash them the whole time.
We'll talk about Glacier.
Yeah, they love Glacier.
Well,
Those dudes love Glacier. Royal Rumble this year, everyone's like, Glacier's coming out. I'm like, Glacier's not coming out.
Glacier's not showing up.
He's still doing the gimmick, but he ain't coming out tonight.
All right, so back to what our topic for the night is. Let's get off of the Hall of Fame for a few minutes, and we'll come back to Jeff Jarrett in a minute because we got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff that revolves around Jeff Jarrett right now.
But let's go on to the NXT Takeover.
Okay.
Now, I will be the first to admit I am not an NXT mark. I've watched some NXT episodes, but I am much more of a main roster type of guy.
Right.
I will say that there are some things going on in NXT right now that any main roster fans should be watching very closely.
Right.
Because let's not forget, we've had some real superstars come up through NXT.
Yeah.
Do I even need to say Asuka?
Three of their biggest stars came from NXT.
True.
Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins.
Asuka, Charlotte Flair.
Charlotte,
Bayley,
Sasha Banks,
and
Bray
by the
Wyatt.
way, just while we're on this, I gotta get a quick plug here. My kid's listening tonight, so yes, we know you like Bayley, honey, and go Bayley.
I think there probably is either her or Sasha that's going to win the Battle Royale.
All right,
Because they're the only two going in. We're going off here, but they're the only two that have a storyline going on into that match.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
But,
Pike, let's continue.
All right.
NXT Takeover. What do we got?
NXT Takeover. We have, first off, the NXT Tag Team Championships. The Undisputed Era defends against Authors of Pain and Roderick Strong and the UK champion Pete Dunne.
I gotta think Authors of Pain here are gonna be.
I don't think it's them. I'll tell you why. They're gonna get caught up. They're gonna go to SmackDown and Raw.
I can see them going to SmackDown, not Raw.
SmackDown needs. The Bludgeon Brothers need somebody to go against.
And I could see a Bludgeon Brothers Authors of Pain
with
feud
Ellering
that would
calling
be
the
great.
shots for it would be awesome. So I think that means that we either see Roderick Strong and Pete Dunne win the titles for some reason. Pete Dunne's one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Pete Dunne's great. Roderick not
Strong's
so much.
Near the end of his career.
He is.
So maybe that, but then you also have the fact that Bobby Fish has torn his ACL and MCL now. He is out.
He's not wrestling, folks.
This week on NXT, I believe William Regal gave Undisputed Era the ultimatum: either Kyle goes in alone, or Adam teams with him and pulls double duty.
I'm not a huge Undisputed Era fan.
I don't like Adam Cole. I try to really do. Maybe because he's part of the Bullet Club, and I think the Bullet Club is just a glorified NWO fan club.
I would agree with that, and people are gonna have their own opinions on this too, because there's a lot of Bullet Club fans out there.
That being said, I love Kenny Omega.
Kenny Omega's okay, and I'm a Cody Rhodes fan. So,
I can't.
but I will say this: Bullet Club is burning out.
Absolutely.
It's gotten way too much exposure, way too fast. They're selling Bullet Club shirts at Hot Topic now, which is the death knell for any
they
true
sell
underground.
They sell WWE stuff at Hot Topic now.
Well, they do, but I mean, you remember when NWO was over at the very beginning? You could only get your NWO shirts from
WCW.
From WCW, and then they started selling them at Target and Walmart and Hot Topic, and then NWO started to slide, and then we got the red versus the black.
Yeah, and then they had the silver and the
neon pink or whatever it was.
Whatever.
Yeah, it was
the LWO.
Right.
It's when the NWO had like 50 members.
Oh, and BWO represent
Blue World Order.
But anyway, so yeah, I think Bullet Club's pretty much over. But I think I would like to see the Authors of Pain.
Two-time NXT Tag Team Champions. Okay. I mean, I can see it, but I think they're going to get caught up.
All right, so what do we got next?
Next up, we have unsanctioned match. Former tag team champions, former best friends, Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa. And Ciampa's coming back from a severe injury as well.
I'm going to go with Gargano.
I don't know, because it's Ciampa's first match back.
It's unsanctioned, which means
I think
anything goes.
Either way it goes, Johnny Gargano's ending up on the main roster after WrestleMania.
I don't think Gargano's ready yet.
Somehow he got back into NXT, because the last time I watched NXT, he lost a title match against Almas, and that meant he had to leave NXT. And then Ciampa came out and hit him with a crutch.
Well, and it's we all as fans know, and going to break kayfabe here for just a second.
Okay.
We all know the loser leave town matches are an excuse to go on vacation.
Right.
When Edge and Christian did it, the best I think I've ever seen it. They left for 2 weeks, came back with luchador masks on, and called themselves the Conquistadors, which is still one of the funniest moments of wrestling ever.
Another good one was the Miz got fired and came back as the Calgary Kid and won a ladder match against Eugene to get his contract back.
Oh yes, Eugene, another dark spot on the history of wrestling.
But a phenomenal trainer for NXT now.
True, but I mean his character and Hornswoggle, and we'll do a show on that too. But
Hornswoggle again too, great guy.
Yeah.
Just was it needed?
It's one of those things where the WWE tried to push the envelope for shock's sake.
Well, that was there we go. Let's not be the Attitude Era anymore. But let's just do stupid stuff that's gonna get shock value.
Right, and the Mae Young giving birth to a hand, and
that was Attitude Era though.
That was the end of the Attitude Era.
That was.
But anyway, what do we got next?
All right, next up we have the NXT Women's Championship. Champion Ember Moon defending against Shayna Baszler.
Ember Moon, all the way.
Shayna Baszler. I don't like her. Don't like her at all, but she's gonna win.
I think Ember Moon's gonna win because I think they're setting Ember Moon up to be a fighting champion the same way that Charlotte Flair was a fighting champion when she was in NXT.
Okay.
I think that NXT needs a strong women's presence right now, and Ember Moon's got great mic skills and great ring skills.
Yeah, she's got an interesting look too.
She does.
So I'm gonna skip over this one match, and I'm gonna do the main event first because the other match I think is exponentially more important.
Okay.
The main event will probably most likely be Aleister Black versus Andrade Cien Almas for the NXT Championship. I believe that if Aleister Black does not win, he's getting called up.
I'm with you there. I'm hoping there that Aleister Black wins. I like Aleister Black.
SmackDown.
Actually, I see Aleister Black on Raw.
I see him on Raw too, but SmackDown could use him. It depends on how much this supposed draft is going to change things.
I see Aleister Black on Raw, and I'll tell you why. I think Aleister Black has an interesting gimmick.
Yeah.
And storyline-wise right now, for anybody who watches both shows, the best stories are on SmackDown right now.
Right.
Hands down. With the possible exception of the woke.
That would be an interesting thing to see Aleister Black versus woke Matt Hardy.
Or, as we've been talking about, or woke Bray Wyatt, as we may be getting at WrestleMania.
And you know what would be hilarious if they had Bray Wyatt come back as Husky Harris.
Yeah, but I don't know that they're done with the Bray Wyatt gimmick yet. Husky Harris.
How many times are they going to let it fail?
Well, and we've talked about this as well. I think the Bray Wyatt gimmick has legs. I think they need to fill the hole the Undertaker left, and Bray Wyatt could do that if they gave Bray Wyatt the push he needs.
Yeah.
They are putting him against B and C grade curtain jerkers and making him job out to them, which doesn't set you up to have a decent storyline. The Matt Hardy Bray Wyatt storyline has been one of the most entertaining things that I've seen Bray Wyatt do in a long time.
Right.
But even that, I mean, that ridiculous brawl at the Hardy compound with
the Ultimate Deletion.
Yeah, the Ultimate Deletion was.
It was the same thing as the TNA stuff.
I was going to say it was a TNA rehash.
Just produced better, maybe.
It was. And Matt Hardy, you know, I understand what they're doing. Jeff was hurt, and they needed to give Matt something to do.
Well, he's cleared now.
But woke Matt Hardy can only run for so long before he shifts from being mildly interesting to really annoying.
Yeah.
And the whole delete thing needs to stop. But again, that's main roster stuff we'll be talking about in a little bit.
Honestly, since I was maybe 12, after that I stopped caring about the Hardys.
The Hardys have their place. The Hardys and Edge and Christian were the table, ladders, and chairs guys.
Well, in the Dudleys.
And the Dudleys. I won't take anything away from the Dudleys.
They're going to the Hall of Fame.
I love the Dudleys.
The Dudleys are the greatest tag team ever.
I would disagree with that.
22-time tag team champions.
Greatest tag team ever. Okay.
Who else has done it?
Nobody else has done it, but you've got to understand how the business has changed since the early days. I would say they are in contention to be one of the greatest tag teams ever, but you're taking away things from people like the Legion of Doom. The Road Warriors were insanely good.
Consider this, though. They were good friends. They threw Bubba and Devon together on a whim.
And I get that. Devon was a booker for ECW before he became a wrestler.
Bubba was a bouncer who was trying to get into wrestling.
Right.
And they threw him in with the Dudleys, and they became arguably the greatest tag team of all time.
And I like, and arguably that's true.
That's why I put that in there, arguably, because there are other great tag teams. I'm not going to.
Well, and I mean, you've got people like the Freebirds, and we can go on and on about great tag teams.
Yeah, we can go. That's another episode.
We're stacking up episodes here tonight,
guys,
folks.
This is our WrestleMania podcast, and it's coming up with ideas for other podcasts.
That's it. And we promise it will get more polished as we go along. But again, first time out, and we're just flying with it.
That's a loose promise too. It's like a promise you make to a kid, like, oh, if you get all A's, I'll get you a PlayStation.
It's a kayfabe promise.
Kayfabe, yeah. It's a McMahon promise.
It's a McMahon. We guarantee.
We guarantee. I guarantee it.
Okay, and what about the last NXT match?
The last NXT match is to crown the first ever NXT North American champion.
6-man ladder match, y'all.
6-man ladders. Have you seen the belt?
I have not seen the belt.
The belt, it's like a dark red strap with it's like in an old school looking plate. It's like a throwback. It's fucking incredible.
All right. Well, we will have to take a look at that.
All right. So we'll take a look at that. And the competitors we have here, we have EC3. I believe he's making his in-ring debut for NXT.
Yeah, not convinced he's going to do anything.
He's there because he's there as he's a name. Ricochet. Yeah. Again, he's been wrestling with him, but as Chuck Taylor said, fuck Ricochet. Velveteen Dream, great character, dude plays it to a T, great wrestler.
Good.
Don't see him winning it.
Good character, great wrestler, not going to win it.
Not going to, exactly. Killian Dane.
Going to be the winner of the match. I'm calling it right now.
Nah, Adam Cole, if he pulls double duty, he'll be in this match as well. He's a possibility because they went all in enough on him to give him his actual ring name from the Independents.
Killian Dane has impressed me very much. He's one of the NXT guys that I can see big things for in the future.
Nobody has impressed me in NXT more than my pick to win. The Freak, Lars Sullivan. Dude has a great look, a great interesting look to himself. He's got a good moveset for his style that he has, which is, beat the shit out of you. He's got a knowledge for the business. He wants to learn, and he's hyper intelligent.
And I will not take anything away from Lars Sullivan. Lars Sullivan is everything wrestling should be.
Yeah.
but I think he's green, and I think
he's green, but he's getting better.
I think he needs another 3 to 6 months before they put a strap on.
Well, here's my bold prediction for this match. If he doesn't win this match, he's gonna show up on Raw Monday night after WrestleMania, because he's the kind of guy that gets Vince's 70-year-old dick hard.
All right. Well, that's an image I never wanted. But yeah, well, I mean, I'll give you.
It's not like you haven't seen it when he pulls his pants on TV to get his ass kissed. He's like got a huge boner.
We don't want to talk about the Kiss My Ass Club for sure.
Well, but I think that the guy, he's got all the potential in the world. He loves the sport. Dude's girlfriend left him because he loved wrestling too much.
Well, okay, we've all been there. But just, I will not take anything away from Sullivan, but I'm telling you, I've got a gut instinct here, and I don't see Sullivan winning the match.
I don't see Killian winning for the fact that I think that Sanity might get caught up, too. I think that a lot of people are going to be getting caught up.
I don't think as many as you think. I think that,
I think scattered out, not all at once, but scattered out over the rest of the year.
I really think, and this is again just me getting on a soapbox for a second. I think that what the WWE needs to do in the draft is they need to take a look at their talent pool, look at the guys who are there week after week, putting on the show, getting out there, giving it 110% to entertain the fans, and they need to start pushing them rather than pushing people like Brock Lesnar, who shows up once a month.
Well, he'll be a non-factor for WrestleMania.
This is true, and we'll talk about that as well. But WWE is continually focusing on the same 6 to 8 people, where you have people lingering in the middle like Bray Wyatt, Rusev,
you've got the
Heath
guy,
Slater,
the guy who jobs to the guy.
Right. Heath Slater, who is personally one of my favorite wrestlers. These guys are out there day in and day out doing the work to try to get to that top tier.
Eating everyone else's shit.
But they're not getting there. And I think the WWE needs to pull back and go, okay, wait a minute. Maybe Roman Reigns doesn't need, another title shot against whoever. Maybe we don't want to see Dean Ambrose, or not Dean Ambrose, we don't want to see AJ Styles versus Roman Reigns for the 45th time. Maybe we want to see Rusev versus Roman Reigns. Maybe we want to see Heath Slater versus Roman Reigns. Maybe we want something new.
Right.
And that's the thing. If they've got such a deep roster at this point, if the WWE would step back and say, look, okay, we're clearing the slate. There are no top tier. There are no bottom tier. Everybody gets the same shot. Get out there and show us what you can do. Then we actually have a wrestling promotion that people will give a damn about.
Again. Right. Because if you're seeing the same main event 3 times in a row, it gets old as shit.
Well, and it's like what Vince did in the Attitude Era. Vince called everybody into the locker room and said, here's what we've been doing. It's not working. Take your character, do what you're going to do, and that's why we got things like Stone Cold Steve Austin, DX, Shawn Michaels, Triple H.
Small tangent on Shawn Michaels. Cut his hair.
I had seen that.
He looks like the dad from Shameless now.
There are going to be some surprises, I think, this weekend as well. Now that we're kind of leaving the NXT and going to the big event on Sunday.
Big show now.
I think we're going to see some surprises. I think we're going to see some folks showing up that we weren't expecting. I think we are going to see some folks show up that we were expecting. I think if you have been watching wrestling and you don't think Undertaker, American Badass, or Undertaker, Deadman, or one of the other is going to show up, then you're out of your mind. Because he's going to be there.
I really want the Deadman to show up as the biker.
See, and
you know what would be interesting too? At this point, Cena has been attacking him as a man, not as the Undertaker, as a man. What if Mark Calloway shows up?
That would be interesting. There's some speculation going around on the internet right now, and we talked about this as well, that Bray Wyatt may be transitioning into becoming the new Undertaker. If that happens, and I'm not saying it's going to, but if that happens, A, it would revitalize Bray Wyatt's career, and B, it would give us that dark presence that we need as a kind of overwhelming villain for the WWE. Brock Lesnar's leaving. We know that.
Yeah.
UFC.
Dana White's pretty much said that to us now. He's like, hey, yeah, Brock's coming back. We don't know when he's coming back.
Yeah. So UFC is taking Brock back from us, and
Good.
Yeah.
I like Brock, but good.
Well, I like Brock. I think Brock is being misused.
He shouldn't be champion.
He shouldn't be champion, and he should not have a contract that allows him to show up whenever he wants to.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
Well,
Paul Heyman.
Let me explain to you his contract. This is how it was explained to me by a friend. We'll say that. Brock Lesnar is an attraction. If you have an attraction every week, it fails then to be an attraction. It's commonplace. That's why Brock Lesnar's on a limited schedule.
And I understand that. And Ronda Rousey's going to be on a limited schedule for a while too. We know that.
She's committed full time.
She's committed full time, but I'm telling you, just from a business standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
Stephanie and Triple H and the powers that be are not going to allow her to appear on TV every week. They're just not going to do it. She's too big of a draw for the pay-per-views. It's like when The Undertaker would show up, maybe once or twice right before a pay-per-view started, and then hit the pay-per-view and burn the house down and then disappear for a couple of weeks.
Right.
That's what they're going to do with Ronda Rousey.
Unless she gets a title.
Yeah, but she's not even in contention for a title at this point.
She's the most legitimate competitor they have in the women's division.
This is true, and while we're on that subject, let's talk about Triple H and Stephanie versus Kurt Angle
Let's start with that, man.
Ronda. What do you think there, Pipes?
It's not the ideal situation I wanted to see for her, but I called it. As soon as she signed, as they said that she was signing, I said, oh, she's going to be facing Triple H or Stephanie.
I would have loved to have seen her actually go toe-to-toe with Charlotte Flair.
Yeah. Well, that was the original plan. The original plan was supposed to be the 4 horsewomen of MMA versus the 4 horsewomen of WWE at WrestleMania. And that fell apart because of all the storylines going on and with the brand splits and whatnot. But I think eventually down the line that'll happen. Maybe a SummerSlam or something, another WrestleMania. But they've got a star on their hands that's already built. She's built, ready to go. She needs to work on her mic skills a little bit. She needs to take the criticism from the superstars. She did that Samoan drop to, was it Stephanie?
Yes.
Or Stephanie, or was it
No, it was Triple H.
No. She Yuri Nagin him to a table.
Yes.
She Samoan dropped somebody. I think it was Stephanie.
It was Stephanie.
But she did it wrong. She hooked her arm around the back of her neck, and if you fall, you can either A, break their neck, or C, dislocate your shoulder.
Yes.
The Samoans, Roman Reigns, the Usos,
The Rock.
I don't think The Rock chimed in. The Rock doesn't give a shit.
Well, no, but The Rock knew how to do a Samoan drop.
Yeah, all the Samoans got on Twitter and were like, hey, when you do it, you're supposed to leave your left arm that's hooking, or your arm that's hooking their head down when you drop, so you both drop safely. And they need to keep doing that to her. Help her. Don't. Oh, she's from another sport. She's coming in to take our spot. No, help her. Help your company.
Well, and she's got some provenance too. I mean, she trained with Piper.
Right.
And we know that, Piper was a big fan of Ronda Rousey. She has his jacket.
And vice versa.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where if Piper, one of the greatest legends who ever lived, arguably, said she was okay and encouraged her to come into that business, then the other wrestlers who are there, who are all paying homage to the legends, really ought to help her out and say, okay, well, this is for Rowdy. Here's how you do this.
Yeah.
Here's what you do. Here's what you don't do. Here's what you can say. Here's what you don't say.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
And honestly, all the hate that she's getting from the other superstars right now, I think is all kayfabe, because if you see pictures of them at the WrestleMania press conference, all the divas around her, they're all hugging and smiling and taking fucking pictures.
Well,
so there was who was it? It was Enzo. He was completely alienated and stuff like that. People would take pictures and keep him out of it.
Well,
that's a big difference there.
Talking about kayfabe for a second, and for those of you guys who don't know, kayfabe is the storyline aspect of wrestling. Many people over the last couple of years have said that kayfabe is dead. I don't agree with that. I think it has changed, but I don't think it's dead.
It's changed. Internet's killing professional wrestling.
The dirt sheets are killing professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When you get people staked out backstage to take pictures of people when they're coming in and spoil shit for everybody, that's cancer on wrestling.
Well, it's not only that, but you've also got your YouTubers, and I'm not going to name any names, who get out there and who get advanced information about what storylines are going down on Raw or SmackDown, or advanced information about winners that are scripted for different matches.
Right.
And they publish that crap before the shows air.
Yeah.
That's ruining the sport.
There's no need to watch at that point. You know who's gonna win, who's gonna lose, and it ruins the fun of it. Because wrestling is it's a sport, but it's like they say, it's sports entertainment.
Well, and some of the old timers out there, I know, object to that title, sports entertainment.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is, once the cat is out of the bag, you can't put it back in. No. No one in their right mind is going to believe that wrestling is 100% legit.
No.
Anymore.
I don't think anybody since maybe the late 70s truly ever has.
Well, true. I mean,
other than children.
Children, yes. And kids, if you're listening to this, wrestling is 100% legit.
Absolutely.
No scripting, no storylines. Everything you see is real.
They fight it out
and
see who's the best.
Don't try this at home.
Yeah, or at school or anywhere, as WWE is now saying.
Right. I think wrestling goes through cycles. I think that the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, and where we're at now, I think it's an ever-growing cycle. And I think that with that, changes are inevitable. And I think that kayfabe has to change with it.
Yeah.
But we're getting off topic again. What's our next match there, Pikes?
Next match would be for WrestleMania. We just covered
Rousey
and... Let me mark that off here. Next up, we have Cruiserweight Championship. Cedric Alexander versus Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
This was a tournament after Enzo Amore was fired for being a deviant.
Yes. And that's all we're going to say.
That's all we're going to say. A deviant. And it's not even that, because it was proved wrong. False. He just withheld information he needed to tell WWE.
Yes, and we're not going to rag
wrong
on
with
Enzo or anything else.
You know, wherever you are, buddy, Eric, you're not Enzo anymore. Eric, best of luck to you.
Was a big fan of yours. Hope you do well wherever you end up.
Loved your mic work. Hated your in-ring work. Leave it at
On
that.
this match, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to go for Doink the Clown.
Okay. Well,
honestly, guys, I mean, these two wrestlers, if you've heard of them, I mean, I've seen them both wrestle.
Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali are both great wrestlers.
They are. They're both great in-ring, but they're not top-tier talent.
No. I would have much rather seen it be Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gulak.
Gulak would have been great. Or Gotch.
Gotch is not with the company anymore, though.
Yeah, that's true. That's right, guys. Gotch is no longer with the company.
Yes, Simon Gotch. I think he's going by something else Gotch now. Simon something now. Simon Grimm is his new name, I believe. But yeah, same to him. If you ever hear this, best of luck to you, dude.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
awesome.
Loved you in the WWE. Can't wait to see where you end up.
Yeah, but I think Cedric's going to win this because I think that they're really high on Cedric Alexander. Don't like the two people who are in it. I thought Cedric was okay, but I think Mustafa, it should have been Gulak, or it should have been Buddy Murphy.
For me, this is just a throwaway match. This is a time.
It's going to be the pre-show.
Yeah, I mean this is literally a time. This is that match where I go to make another hot dog when it's on because I don't care.
It was confirmed that match is going to be the pre-show with the Battle Royale. Because, whatever.
Yeah, who cares?
It's 205 Live.
What else we got?
We have next up Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale, also on the pre-show.
And that's actually interesting. I don't know that I would have put the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale in the pre-show.
Well, you know why it is right? Because the women's are going to be in the main roster, the main show.
I understand that, but this is one of the matches I'm actually most excited about for WrestleMania.
I'm excited too because you don't know who's going to win.
You don't know who's going to be in it at this
There's no
point.
clear-cut pick. And they've only announced a handful of people.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's where we're going to see a lot of surprises. Some NXT guys, some legends, some former talents maybe. You know, it'd be awesome. We got some guys from Progress or Ring of Honor.
Yes,
since they're working with them already.
Ring of Honor would be great. Progress
Wrestling is amazing. If you haven't watched Progress, check out Progress.
True. And
Twitter @ThisIsProgress. There's an underscore in there somewhere.
and I will give big ups to Ring of Honor. Guys, you have gone from a nothing company to being something that is must-see TV for me.
Yeah.
And hey, you know,
hey,
again, I'm a mark for Cody Rhodes.
They have Chuck Taylor. Ha
They have Chuck Taylor.
boy.
But anyway, back to the battle royale. I'm not sure where to go on this one. I know I'm going to enjoy the crap out of it.
I'm just gonna pick the guy that I want to win, Zack Ryder. I love Zack Ryder.
I'm not a Zack Ryder fan.
Why not?
Zach's never done it for me. I'm gonna go with a wild card here. I'm gonna throw out Bray Wyatt. I think Bray Wyatt's gonna show up in the battle royal.
Okay. Or do you think he's gonna show up and help Matt win it?
Nope. I think he's gonna show up and be in the battle royal.
Okay.
Or, barring that, Heath Slater.
Okay. So you pick your guy you like.
Heath, and if you're listening to this, buddy, it's great, man. You're doing great. We love you here, and you have kids. So.
Which is funny because I don't think he really does.
No, he doesn't. But it was the greatest gimmick ever.
Yeah. I think it's still in their No, it's not anymore. Remember the Titantron used to be the pool floats going down the ring, and it's like, I got kids, I need this job.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Heath Slater and Rhino.
What else we got?
All right, we've got Andre the Giant. Women's Battle Royale. Bailey or Sasha?
That feud is going pretty strong right now. The Bailey
Sasha. So it's gonna be one of those two.
Yes, probably. I'm gonna go with Bailey. Gotta support the one my daughter likes.
I'm gonna go with Sasha because WWE, for some ungodly reason, probably because he's related to Snoop Dogg, loves Sasha Banks.
And
Sasha Banks is a horrible character, can't cut a promo, and I don't like her working the ring.
Back about a year ago, though, when actually it was probably more like 2 years ago, when the Bellas were still wrestling.
Yeah.
Sasha was a good foil for the Bellas, but she has gone downhill the last couple of years for sure.
Yeah. Well, it happens with everybody when they get a major push like she did.
It is true. Unless
they are that superstar quality that they hope they are.
Yes.
Like The Rock. The Rock never had that. He went from the point where he went from being Rocky Maivia to The Rock. It was just straight on boom from there on out.
Well, yeah, I mean, The Rock.
Same with Steve Austin.
The Rock, before he got his push, when he was still Nation of Domination Rock, was terrible.
Well, the Nation of Domination wasn't all that it was cracked up to be. They could have done better with that.
Yeah, and the funny...
And you know why they didn't, right? Vince is a
racist. I will just breeze right past that one. That one will probably get cut in post.
No, we're leaving it there.
But
I love you though, Vince. Thank you,
Vince. Thank you for being who you are and for making wrestling what we love.
Yeah.
But I will go ahead and say, it's just with The Rock and the Nation of Domination. I like the Nation of Domination. I
did too.
Thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious when Owen joined.
Yes, that was great. And then when DX made fun of them, that was great too.
That was awesome, yeah.
But that was one of the great stables though back then. DX, the Nation.
That was the thing that the Attitude Era. There was a lot of good stables.
There was.
Mystery of Darkness. We're getting off track again.
Yes, and we'll do that because we are wrestling fans.
We went from talking about women's wrestling to talking about the Attitude Era staples.
All right,
but anyway, Sasha Banks or Bailey's gonna win that.
I'm gonna go Bailey.
Yeah, Sasha Banks because WWE's got a hard on for her. Women's wrestling battle royale done. SmackDown Tag Team Championships. Usos defending against New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers. For me, I want the Bludgeon Brothers to win. I feel like one of the other two teams is going to win.
I want the Bludgeon Brothers to win as well. Love the Bludgeon Brothers, but I'm telling you, New Day.
Yeah,
it's going to be New Day.
It seems like that to me too.
The New Day
or the
is...
Usos retain.
I think the Usos are done. The New Day is the cash cow for the WWE. They sell pancakes and booty flakes and unicorn ears and T-shirts and ice cream and whatever else they can think of to throw at you.
It's a marketing genius right there.
It really is. And marketing guys at the WWE, if you're listening to this, great job. Absolutely great job.
You know what? I don't think I can give that to them. I got to give that to the three guys.
Okay.
Because you know what? The New Day is exactly this. Three bros hanging out doing what they want to do.
And New Day, if you guys are listening to this, first of all, hit us up. We'd love to have you on the show.
Xavier Woods is one of my favorite wrestlers.
Secondly, and I love Big E. But secondly, I will tell you, man, you guys have been responsible for some of my favorite moments in the last 5 years. So, all right, let's go ahead and hit it up.
For the next match would be the Raw Tag Team titles. The Bar versus Braun Strowman and somebody.
Who is somebody, Pipes?
I'm leaning heavy towards it being Big Show. I'm leaning heavy towards it being possibly Lars Sullivan, because they started out as a tag team in NXT together, and Vince, like I said, Vince, it's the kind of guy he loves. It would be one that would be unexpected, you know.
I'm going to throw out 3 names.
Okay.
First of all, there was a rumor floating around, before I get into my 3 names, there was a rumor floating around earlier this week that Rey Mysterio was going to be the partner.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I saw something.
That's
today.
been apparently been disproven, so
Yeah.
it's not going to be Ray. The 3 that I'm looking at that could show up conceivably, Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan can't wrestle anymore.
He can wrestle. He can get in the ring and pretend to wrestle anyway.
Well, isn't that what it is?
Anyway, if Bray Wyatt does not enter the Battle Royal, I would love to see Bray show up for a kind of mini Wyatt reunion.
Yeah.
I think that would be great.
So, but would you have them still win, or would you have them lose?
I'd have them win.
Yeah?
And the third and most controversial of my picks, and I don't foresee this happening.
It's not Glacier, is it?
No, it's not Glacier. I don't foresee this happening, but I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that, you know, in my wildest dreams, if I could reach back into the pages of history and pull somebody, Conan.
Really?
Yeah.
Not going to be him, though, because he's under contract with Lucha Underground.
Yeah, but they're
commentator.
also
No, not Lucha Underground. That's Vampiro. I'm sorry. He's with TNA still. GFW. Whatever they are.
But we're going to talk about that in a minute.
We are. Fair enough.
And it's, okay, we've been stringing them long enough.
Let's talk about
We're going to take a break from WrestleMania for a minute. We're going to talk about Jeff Jarrett.
Jeff Jarrett is the current president and owner, I believe, of GFW, TNA, Impact, whatever they're called now. He is going into the WWE Hall of Fame, which is we've seen, but you know, it's not too awful strange because we have seen WWE and TNA work together for stuff like this.
This is showing us basically that there's stuff going on behind the scenes with WWE and TNA, GFW, HSN, whatever it is, that we don't know about yet. I would not be surprised if we see a takeover at some point.
Well, he has shown up because just today I think it was Zack Ryder posted a picture with Jeff Jarrett.
Yes.
So he's there.
So
backstage at I think it was SmackDown, I guess.
We will say this, that you know, this could be the beginning of a Invasion 2 angle.
Yeah, and I'm going to read off this list I made. There's a list. This is all the talent on air and off air that are former TNA employees. We have AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Bobby Roode, Drew McIntyre, EC3, Mickey James, Zelina Vega, Kurt Angle, The Hardys, Goldust, R-Truth, Mark Andrews, TJP, Tony Nese, Mike and Maria Kanellis, Xavier Woods, Eric Young, Chad Lale, Mahabali Shera, Sting, X-Pac, Road Dogg, Ric Flair, Kevin Nash, Devon, and even Kurt Hawkins was in TNA and was tag team champions for a day. Those guys, and there's a rumor about Bobby Lashley's coming back. So, it's setting it up.
And those are just some of the people who were in TNA for a little while.
That's all of them on the roster currently.
Well, on the current roster, but there have been a lot of wrestlers who are no longer with the company who were also did some time in TNA.
Yeah.
Most notably, Mick Foley.
RVD, Sandman.
True.
Sabu.
Jericho.
Chris Jericho. Yeah, he did he sang on TNA's, but I don't think he's come back to defend them.
No, he hasn't. But
he wouldn't come back to defend them. He would.
No. But what I'm saying is he was a part of TNA.
He did something with TNA at one point.
So our guess here is that there's going to be an Invasion 2 angle. That they're setting something up where we're going to see a merging of what used to be TNA and the WWE. And if that happens, then someone like Conan could conceivably show up at WrestleMania.
Except for Conan's retired from in-ring.
He is retired from in-ring, yes.
Because
it would not be the strangest thing in the world.
No.
To see a one-off.
Yeah.
Because I don't foresee whoever Braun's partner is. I don't foresee it lasting more than just WrestleMania.
It has to be a name that's going to get a gigantic pop. Or, you know, WWE, it might even be that, because who's really going to pop that hard for Big Show if it's Big Show?
Well, and we talked about some of the surprises that we may be
Big
seeing
Cass
too.
could be one too.
Cass might be there
Because he has no Enzo Amore feud to fall back on now.
It also has been confirmed, by the way, that he may not be competing, but The Rock will be in attendance at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Stone Cold Steve Austin will be in attendance.
And he's cleared to wrestle.
And he is cleared. So I mean, it's anybody's guess who could be showing up to be Braun's partner.
All we know it's got to be somebody.
It's got to be somebody. They're not going to let him
go by himself.
Beat up the bar like he did on TV a couple weeks ago.
You know, it's funny because they gave Kyle O'Reilly the option to defend the titles by himself in NXT.
Yes, I did see that.
That counteracts what they said about Braun.
Well, you're talking about NXT versus main roster, though.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're using NXT to prepare them for the main roster, how different can it really be?
Well, yes, but NXT is the training ground. Mm-hmm. The main roster is the show. The rules are different. You can do things on NXT that you can't get away with.
Well, that's because it's on the network.
On the main roster.
Yeah.
Anyway, next match.
Next match would be, that was the Raw Tag titles. So we are up to United States Championship match. Randy Orton defending against Rusev, Jinder Mahal, and Bobby Roode.
Bobby Roode for the win.
Two-time U.S. champion there.
Yes.
I'm going to go either Jinder winning his first or Rusev winning his third.
Now I'm gonna be very kind of controversial here. I like Jinder Mahal.
Mm-hmm. I do.
I did not like him as a champion.
I loved him as WWE champion. I think he's a great heel champion.
I think that
it was different. It was different. Like, to your point of the same six people, there was a different guy.
There was
who did a good job.
He did a really good job, but once he lost it, he's just been meandering in the middle of the card.
Lost in the shuffle.
That's right.
Because WWE knows how to make someone a star, but they can't keep them a star.
True. And Jinder, I love his in-ring work. I hate his mic work. Absolutely hate it.
You know what he would benefit from being? A Heyman guy.
Heyman would be a good choice. Even somebody like Ellering.
Ellering would be great.
Would be great. That's what the WWE needs now, because you've got a lot of good in-ring performers. There are no managers to speak of.
Well, that's the thing. It's interesting, though. Heyman's about to be free because Brock's going back to the UFC.
And I think Heyman may be taking a much-deserved break.
And if he doesn't take a break, you know who I think he's going to get? Ronda Rousey.
That would be interesting.
Would help her a lot.
Now, that leads to the question, will Ronda Rousey be a face or a heel?
I think she's going to be Ronda Rousey and do what she wants to do. Because who in that division other than Asuka's got a chance of stopping her?
I also, by the way, jumping back to the Rousey match for a second.
Okay.
We didn't pick our winners for that, by the way.
Rousey and Angle.
I'm going to Stephanie and Triple H, and we'll tell you why.
Okay.
I think Angle's going to turn on her.
Really?
Yep. I think that letting Rousey beat Stephanie and Triple H in her first match doesn't further the company. If what I think is happening, they are gearing up for Rousey to be a Stone Cold Steve Austin like figure. She's going to be the standout against the authority, and with that, she needs to have a loss to them first, and it needs to be a loss that isn't a fair loss.
Okay, I agree with that. Let's take a little break here and come back and pick up where we left off.
We'll be right back, guys.
Here's a word from our sponsors. And we just realized we don't have any sponsors, so we're back.
Man, that reminds me, if anybody out there wants to sponsor us, please get in touch with us.
Don't know why you would, but, hey, if you do. Actually, we kind of do have a sponsor. The Tortoise and Hair Comics and Games.
That's right.
2401 North Corridor Highway, Kiddo Hill, North Carolina, 27948.
Greatest comic and game store on the beach. Come see Turtle. He is one of the best comic store owners we've ever seen. We are under new management, so come on down.
Check it out.
By the way, guys, for anybody in the area, we are having a big WrestleMania party on Sunday night, starting at 5.
5 o'clock. Cookout. Big things happening.
Come on down and watch the event with us.
Make your picks. Try to win the store championship.
That's right, and you might even be able to get an autograph from Jobber and Pipes.
Maybe, if I can remember how to write.
That's it, man.
All right, so let's get back to the WrestleMania card. So we picked our U.S. title match winners. Let's stay on the SmackDown side. Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
This one's going to be an interesting match This is the definition of a no-win scenario.
Yeah, they both lose in this situation. Everyone loses. The fans win because it's going to be great in-ring action. From at least 3 of them.
From 3 of them, yes.
Because Shane ain't got nothing to jump off of this time.
You never know. Shane may have somebody driving a Zamboni so he can jump off.
You know what? Watch them climb. Watch them have like are they in the Superdome?
Yes.
They won't have the big canopy like they have like in Orlando. They can crawl up that shit and fall off of that.
I love Shane O'Mac. Shane, if you're listening to this, brother, thank you so much, man. You are great.
Yeah, I like you too, but give the spot to someone else.
Shane, you're getting kind of old, man. Stick with being
an on-air personality.
An on-air personality. Become the big heel that your dad was, but please stop getting in the ring.
I think the thing though, that Stephanie's the heel. I think Shane's the face. I think Stephanie's the Vince, Shane's the Linda.
All right, well, I'm sure Shane's glad to hear that. We just lost Shane as a listener.
Well, Shane, Mother's a great woman. She's a great woman.
She is. And Vince, you're a great guy, man.
Great dude.
I will go ahead and go on record to say that Pipes' opinions here do not represent the opinions of this podcast or any other governing body.
Hey, I'm not saying it's my opinion. I like Vince McMahon. I'm just going off of his track record.
Okay. On to it. What else we got?
All right, we have triple threat action. Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor for the Intercontinental Championship.
I will be so glad when this match is over.
Really?
I am. Miz TV with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins over the last month has been... The first couple times redundant. They did it, it was really funny.
Now it's redundant.
Now it's just, oh wow, we're going to see this again this week?
No, boy, I wonder what they're going to say this time.
And I'm sorry, but I really want the Miz Taraj to turn on Miz.
They've been working towards it.
I really want that to happen at WrestleMania.
I think Seth Rollins wins this.
I like Seth, and Seth, member of the Shield, one of my favorite stables in the modern day. Or used to be a stable, I guess, not so much anymore.
Well, the Shield comeback was a disaster. You had Roman get sick. Then you had Dean
get hurt. And Dean, if you're listening, man, love you. Hope you can get back in there at some point.
It's not sounding good, though.
I know.
But best wishes to Dean.
So you're going with Seth. I'm going to have to go with Finn Balor.
I want Finn. I like Finn better than the other two. But I feel like it's going to be Seth Rollins.
Well, and I hope Finn wins for the sheer fact that if he doesn't win, before too long, we're going to see that stupid demon character again.
I like the demon.
That makeup is horrible, man.
But I don't know if did you ever watch him when he was Prince Devitt?
I did. Prince Devitt.
But the better makeup. Because he did licensed characters.
Yes.
You can't do that in WWE.
And I get that. But the whole... Finn is such a great wrestler in his own right. He doesn't need the alternate personality demon thing anymore. He just needs to be Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And he's got Balor Club with him now, which is Bullet Club Light.
Mm.
But
well, no, it's Bullet Club Original.
Well,
it is the Bullet Club.
Bullet Club Original.
It's
same great taste. It's half the flavor.
It's okay. So it's original NWO Light.
True. So we're gonna go ahead and go with Finn Balor on that match.
Okay, I want Finn to win, but I think Seth's gonna win. Okay, that brings up. Let's do the one that might not happen. John Cena and Undertaker.
Something is going to happen.
Something. They've done this for what, 5 weeks now? 6 weeks?
And I am not a huge Cena fan, but I will give Cena all the credit in the world as a human being.
Yeah.
The stuff he does for Make-A-Wish, God bless him.
Yes.
I mean, he is literally must be one of the nicest human beings on earth.
I see. That's the funny thing. I've heard a lot of opposite things that way about John Cena.
Well, he loves the kids, though.
Yeah.
And we like that.
Yeah, right.
But Cena as an in-ring personality and a wrestler has always kind of left me cold. Up until the last couple of weeks.
This has been some of his best work.
The whole prodding and poking at the Undertaker thing the last few weeks has been great.
And fans, that's the most heel you're going to see John Cena ever be anymore.
And he works as a heel. He works well as a heel.
He works very well as a heel.
He needs that kind of gimmick, that kind of push in order to kind of give us the rebirth of John Cena.
And remain relevant.
Right, and remain relevant.
Because honestly, I don't care if he's in the card or not.
I don't either, but I have a feeling that we're going to see some kind of altercation between some version of The Undertaker and John Cena.
Be it Undertaker, be it American Badass, be it Mark Calloway.
True.
Something.
One of those is going to happen. And so that's where I'm at.
Gigantic letdown.
Oh, huge letdown.
I mean, but WWE, let's see what they're doing. They're showing you, hey, we don't have to have John Cena and Undertaker. This card's great as it is.
The card is stacked. I will give it that. It is. They have so many matches, and it's kind of the old adage: if you throw enough crap at the wall, something's going to stick.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like WWE is doing this year. Is they're taking everything and throwing it straight at the
that's
wall.
What you've seen an influx of triple threat and fatal 4-way matches, 6-man match in NXT.
The women's battle royal.
Women's battle royale, men's battle royale. 3-man tag match, 3-team tag match at NXT. You're seeing them throw people in just to throw them in.
Right.
And sometimes it works.
And sometimes it really doesn't. All right.
Like every Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal after the second one.
So what do we got next, Pipes?
Next up, so like we got Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax for the Raw Women's Championship. I think Nia Jax finally wins it.
I don't think so.
I think Alexa Bliss is. I'm upset with this. That every time she has the title at WrestleMania, they make her lose it.
I think Alexa Bliss wins this one with an assist from Mickie James.
That would be ideal for me, but I feel like WWE's not going to give the belt to Nia.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. I think the WWE gets more mileage after WrestleMania, leading up to the next event, which will be SummerSlam.
The next big one,
Yes.
SummerSlam, yes.
By giving us Alexa Bliss and Nia 2 at SummerSlam.
It's too far to wait. They probably do 1 and 2 now, WrestleMania, and then the pay-per-view that they're doing after, which is not going to be Extreme Rules apparently now.
No,
apparently now it's going to be the draft.
Yes.
And I bet you, well, if they're doing that, it depends on the format of the draft. If they're doing SmackDown versus Raw for a pick, or if they're just doing after every few matches, they're going to come up and be like, hey, Raw takes so-and-so. Or they're going to do a lottery.
We'll get into that when the draft
Once we
rolls around.
find out that's probably our next podcast. It's going to be about the draft.
Actually, we're probably going to be doing a talk podcast between now and the draft.
Probably.
As well, because we got a lot of things we want to talk about.
If we're set up now, we can probably do it every week.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. That again is a McMahon guarantee.
Yeah. Guaranteed.
All right.
So that one's in the books. All right, let's do the other women's title match. Charlotte Flair defends against Asuka, the Royal Rumble winner.
Charlotte Flair, all the way.
Really? I'm taking Asuka with a attempted cash in by Carmella.
I'm taking Charlotte Flair with a cash in by Carmella.
Okay.
And I will tell you why. I think Charlotte Flair is going to be the one to end the streak.
Okay.
I think that Charlotte has been getting a huge push here as of late, and I think that they are really trying to make her the female version of her dad.
Yeah.
And that's great. I mean, and by the way, while we're on that subject as well, much love to Ric Flair.
Absolutely. We are in Flair country.
That's right. We're in Flair country, and Nate, you are the greatest there ever was, ever will be, and we respect you.
Yeah, forget what that Canadian says.
Yeah, right. And if you want to be on our podcast, hit us up.
And let me cover my bases on there. Canada, I love you. Bret Hart, I love you too, man. You're a great wrestler.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No?
No.
If you ask our buddy out here, Thorin, he's a giant Bret Hart fan.
Yeah, but he's also a Glacier fan, so.
No, that's just Bill and Pee Wee.
All right, so moving on.
All right, that brings us to the WWE Championship match. AJ Styles defending against Shinsuke Nakamura, the Men's Royal Rumble winner.
Shinsuke Nakamura.
Absolutely.
And not to take anything away from AJ. AJ's great. Mm-hmm. But Shinsuke, he's due.
Yeah.
He has a lot of heat on him right now. Everybody loves him, and he needs a title reign.
Yeah. I feel like he was one of the biggest signings that they've made in the past 5-10 years.
I agree with that. And
as well as AJ Styles. But AJ's been champion twice now. He's been U.S. champion twice now. Shinsuke's been 2-time NXT champion. Sure, okay. Give him a main run.
And if AJ loses the match, AJ doesn't lose any heat.
No. Because at the end of the day, AJ Styles is still AJ Styles.
Right. If Shinsuke loses the match, it's going to be hard to keep people interested in Shinsuke.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, especially on SmackDown.
Right.
If the draft moves into Raw.
Well, and we'll talk about the draft later because
yeah.
we'll be here all night if we start talking about the draft.
But yeah, I feel like it was definitely it's how they're booking it. It's a dream match.
It is,
but it's a dream match we've seen before in Japan.
It is.
So it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be a watered down version of what they did in Japan.
But you gotta think though, Pipes, that a lot of the American wrestling fans, a lot of the, I don't want to say hardcore. A lot of the hardcore fans saw those matches in Japan. Mm-hmm. A lot of the just casual wrestling fans never saw any of the New Japan stuff.
Right.
So we are, some of the wrestling fans here in America who have gotten on the AJ or the Shinsuke bandwagon, this will be the first.
Well, most of the AJ ones are going to be TNA fans.
True.
The handful of them that there are.
True. I mean, I'm sure he's picked up some new fans since he got to
Japan. Japan really saved his career.
True. But next up.
All right, that leaves us with one match left. The one we've all been waiting for. The main event. The Beast Brock Lesnar versus the Big Dog Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship.
And this is going to be not a surprise to anybody.
Roman Reigns is going to win.
Roman Reigns has got this one. We know Brock's leaving.
Brock's leaving to go to UFC.
It's kind of sad and pathetic that the man who broke the streak at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar, is going to drop the ball to Roman Reigns.
The guy who gave him the second loss.
Right. Who cares about the second loss? Nobody cares who won.
We thought the second loss was going to be a fucking retirement.
True. But the fact of the matter is here that if they should have geared up something new or something better for Brock's last run in the WWE. We've got Roman Reigns. Love him or hate him, that's what we're going to end up with.
I like Roman Reigns.
Roman is a great in-ring worker. Roman on the mic is one of the cringiest things I've ever seen.
He's iffy. He's had some good ones. When they don't write his stuff, they let him go out there. Hey, just we know who you're working with. Go out there and say something. When he's allowed to do what he wants to do, good. It's okay.
What will be the more interesting thing about this match is two things actually. What happens with Paul Heyman after Brock goes to UFC? And we talked about that a little bit earlier. But the second thing is, who is going to be the one to take the belt from Roman? Because Roman's not going to hold on to the strap very long.
I got to imagine that it's going to be someone who could, again, the draft's going to come into play there.
It will. But again, this is all set up. And this is the first time in a long time where the main event at WrestleMania has probably been one of the least interesting matches on the card.
Last year, Brock and Goldberg, I didn't care.
It was kind of cool.
Because I knew that Brock was going to win.
Well, you knew Brock was going to win, but it was kind of cool to see Goldberg again.
Yeah, but in the main event of WrestleMania, at 47, 48 years old, against a guy who doesn't care, that's kind of shitting on everybody else.
So, as a wrap-up here, we got WrestleMania this weekend. WrestleMania weekend starts tomorrow.
Yep.
And for those of you guys in the area, we are doing Hall of Fame tomorrow night.
Starting
we are doing,
I think, 7
o'clock. We are doing NXT on Saturday.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And then the big event on Sunday, 5 o'clock.
Start at 5. Cookout.
And, guys, come on down to the shop and watch with us, man. It'll be a fun time for all.
Free of charge. If you can, bring a food or snack.
A snack, a drink, chips, something.
Something to share.
Kind of a community potluck WrestleMania event. But we're all going to be having fun. Pipes and I will both be there. And, guys, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to this first podcast from us. And, again, there were some rough spots, but we're going to get better. And we hope you stick with us.
Yeah.
We're going to go over some ideas for our next podcast, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I want to thank you again for tuning in. This is Pipes and the Jobber coming to you from the shed at Tortoise Comics and Games.
That's right.
Until next time.
See you then.
We'll be Showboatin and Hotdoggin. Have a good one.